there's some thing to be said about having a guide in your journey and then being coddled in your journey. I think that's the man's job as a dad to like let the kid be loose, but then like, pull back the reins when necessary.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Like
sure.
how like tribes would like when their child turns 12 or 13, they're like, all right, go out in the forest and fend for yourself,
Yep.
I think that's so important because then the kid's like, oh shit, like I got to figure out how to take care of myself without my parents. And then they realize the value of their parents versus just being at home playing Xbox. And their mom's like, time to go to bed. You don't get me, mom.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
Exactly.
Out in the forest. Put you out there like Cornell.
With Cornell. Yeah, most
That's
people
it.
won't get that. Cornell's
I
one
know.
of our
That's
one
for
of
the
our
OGs.
yeah, one of our good old friends who's infamously challenged by Doc to go live out in a forest for like 2 days. I think it was like at least one night and then 2 evenings or afternoons. Some say he's still out there. Just kidding.
He's still roaming around the mountains of Eastern Europe.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty wild stuff.
That whole Sky Father Earth Mother thing is fascinating to me, especially when I first learned it, because you realize that for anything to subsist and exist and stand the test of time, it actually has to have a mixture of both. So in the case that you literally just brought up, there's separation there, which is the Sky Father element, but he's out in the wild, which is the Earth Mother element. And both of those combined, yield something that is generally pretty profound. Taking herbs for our body, being attuned to one's body is very feminine in that way, like the Earth Mother realm, because we're following our biology and what Earth has yielded us with our physical bodies versus that mental, kind of more up in our head cognitive aspect of the Sky Father concept. So taking herbs, being attuned to your body so you can be a better man, it's literally just all coming together, and we ultimately benefit from both. So being too far in extreme for either dimension there is not good, and it's probably not actually going to give you any results.
Because that's the origin story for Hawaii. It's like how Hawaiians were originated was Sky Father and Mother Earth had a child, and then that child was like deformed, so they buried that child and it turned into a plant, and then the mother cried over the child, and it basically turned into this ceremonial plant that's on Hawaii called taro or kalo, and it's part of like their culture here. And then there's also, so that's something to be said about the intrinsic knowledge of mother and father and how that whole system works in harmony with the earth.
But too much baby treats, because that's what we're used to, really.
It was basically like little kid treats. That's why I need to be out in the nature. Dad needs to be like, all right, kid, time to go fend for yourself. Yep. No more candy treats out here. You're going out in the Alaskan wilderness for 5 days, and you better be catching some salmon and fighting some bears.
Yeah, that puts
don't eat any berries because they'll probably kill you.
Yeah, that puts it in perspective, because even last night I was eating some nice like turkey legs, as I mentioned, and there's a point where it's just like not satisfying anymore. Mm-hmm. But if you were in the freaking wilderness and you saw a turkey, that would be like just heaven's gift to you, because in comparison to anything else you have to hunt or forage for, that would be like the holy grail.
Right. You gotta catch it too, and then you gotta clean it and cook it.
Yep.
But once you do those things, you're good to go. But that would be, can you imagine if you're hungry, like how happy you'd be if you just showed up in with a wild animal? That's crazy to think about. And then people still think you shouldn't eat animals.
Yeah. Those people need to just go in the forest.
That's what they need to do.
Take a hike and get lost or something. And it takes a big person to separate yourself from something you created your identity around and preached so heavily.
It is easy to create a sense of identity around something that you do so consistently. It gives you a sense of worth or purpose, a sense of belonging. And then you do that to your own detriment.
Yeah. What would you say has been your biggest benefits? Because I know you do the ice bath with your group of guys. What do
Yeah,
they kind of
and try.
say it does for you?
Well, on a scientific standpoint, I wasn't really doing it for recovery or to try and heal faster. It was really a mental experience for me. It was, I did it at this event, and it was very community building. And then there was also a sense of it that it was a consistent event. And then there's also a sense of it being very mentally challenging to convince yourself that you're okay, you're not going to die, and you get yourself very uncomfortable. So I like it because I'm able to teach my brain that things that I get stressed out about aren't actually going to kill me. So ice baths was a great way to introduce to myself that something that I was afraid of, because I always expected it to be, I'm going to get hypothermia, I'm going to die, I'm going to get shocked. And when I could work through my brain as I was in that situation, it makes it a lot easier now. Not only when I'm in a cold situation and I'm cold and wet and I'm breathing through it and making sure my body's aware that it's okay. It also helps me when I'm approaching someone. Like if I'm approaching a girl I want to talk to, or doing something that's really scary for me, my brain doesn't get as scared because it knows that there's more possibilities. I have to remind it, it doesn't do this subconsciously, but it does help me with my mental state, helps with my ego, and it helps me with making sure that I'm just getting into that place of discomfort, because discomfort's that special spot for growth.
Yep.
Because it's so easy to just not do it. And I always anticipate it, you always like get scared about it, and then you build up this whole fear about it, and then you do it and you're just like, oh.
Yeah. I think
you're in there and you're freezing, but it's not, it gets better, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it definitely, that's a huge benefit for sure. And especially for someone like me and a lot of us that might think, hey, we need alcohol or something to like loosen up.
Mm-hmm.
Once, like for me, once I come out of like the cold plunge or like even a cold shower sometimes, like you're high, like almost as if you were drunk, like you're just happy in that same way. A lot like working out, because it's uncomfortable on a huge level very quickly.
Right.
And yeah, there's people out there that just don't have the mental fortitude to do what it takes, and that says something, which is pretty sad. Like
right.
Someone that might even dip their toe in for a second and be like, nope, 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 like legit not going to do it. Yeah, a lot of people just are not attuned with their body. They don't want to be. They're just literally trying to escape the most amount of pain or unpleasantness, period.
Right.
But it really puts things in perspective,